Welcome back to another episode of NBA by Jellyman, episode 18. This week we cover off week 16 review, team and player consistencies as per usual, week 17 preview, also cover off our example day on Wednesday the 1st of February, as well as deep dive into the Eastern Conference, that was the Western Conference last week, and then also cover off those trades and trade rumours. And then obviously best bets for Tuesday the 7th of February. But before we crack into it, just wanted to provide a bit of an update with NBA into its obviously fair way into the season now, second half of the season. But the NRL and AFL coming up. So our plans for the AFL and NRL coming up will obviously have the usual recommendations and stats to be sent out to members, so weekly, monthly and annual subscribers via email. But we're also adding a couple of podcasts. So we're going to do, like we have the NBA by Jellyman, we'll have AFL by Jellyman and also NRL by Jellyman. And our plans there for both, so AFL and NRL, is to release a podcast on the Monday and Wednesday. So the Monday podcast individually for each. So looking for about 15 to 20 minutes for each. On that Monday podcast, we'll obviously cover off the weekend in review and then sort of touch on maybe any key points that happened across that weekend. And then the Wednesday will be the week preview, so the round preview for each. So whether the team lists are out or not, the NRL team list will always be out, but the AFL are 50-50. But then also covering off stats and insights for the upcoming week for those games, whether it's sort of stadium matchups, whether it's player consistencies, whether it's player stats against specific teams, or anything like that. But thought we'd obviously cover off that. We'll also send out an email and a fair bit more communications via Instagram, Facebook, and all those different pages. But let's crack into it. So we're back to Tuesday, the 31st of January. We're looking at the Magic against the 76ers. The Magic beat the Sixers 119 to 109 in Philadelphia. Banchero had 29 points and 9 rebounds. Embiid had 30 points and 11 rebounds. The Nets beat the Lakers 121 to 104. Irving 26 points. The Kings beat the Wolves 118 to 111 in overtime. De'Aaron Fox took over late in that one, 32 points for him. Edwards had 33 points. The Warriors beat the Thunder 128 to 120. Curry had 38. SGA had 31. The Wizards beat the Spurs in San Antonio 127 to 106. KP 17 points. Johnson 26 points. The Mavericks beat the Pistons 111 to 105. Luka had 53 points. The Suns beat the Raptors 114 to 106. Mikal Bridges 29 points. Van Vliet 24 points. And the Blazers beat the Hawks 129 to 125. Murray and Lillard both had 40 plus point games there. Moving to the Wednesday. The Wednesday saw the Heat beat the Cavs 100 to 97. The Lakers beat the Knicks 129 to 123 in overtime. LeBron a triple-double, 28, 10, and 11. Brunson 37 points there. The Clippers beat the Bulls in Chicago 108 to 103. Kawhi 23 points. Vooch 23 and 14. The Bucks beat the Hornets 124 to 115. LaMelo a triple-double, 27, 10, and 11. Giannis had 34 and 18. The Nuggets beat the Pelicans 122 to 113. Jokic 26, 18, and 15 assists. Herb Jones had 21 points and 5 steals in that one. Thursday the 2nd had the Sixers beat the Magic 105 to 94, so obviously bounced back from that loss. Harden 26, 9, and 10, 1 rebound shy of a triple-double. The Blazers beat the Grizzlies in Memphis 122 to 112. Lillard had 42, 8, and 10, 2 rebounds off a triple-double, and Morant had 32, 9, and 12, 1 rebound off a triple-double. So a few guard triple-doubles rolling around in the league at the moment. Also a fair bit of value in them with about that $9 mark. We're actually going to look at Morant's today against the Raptors, but he didn't end up playing. So fair bit of guard value at the moment for those triple-doubles with them grabbing boards. The Celtics thumped the Nets 139 to 96. Tatum had 31 points. The Rockets beat the Thunder in Houston 112 to 106. Giddey and near triple-double as well, 28 and 8. The Wolves, they beat the Warriors 119 to 114. Naz Reid was the guy who took over towards the back end of that game to clutch the win against the Warriors. The Warriors, I think, are now 1-7 in overtime as well this season, which is an interesting stat. The Kings beat the Spurs 119 to 109, Sabonis 34 and 11. And the Jazz beat the Raptors 131 to 128 in Utah. Van Vliet a triple-double, another guard triple-double, 34, 12, and 10. Markkanen 28 and 13. And the Hawks thumped the Suns 132 to 100. DeJounte Murray 21 points. Mikal Bridges 23 points there. Friday's games. We had the Lakers beat the Pacers by 1 point, so doubling back on how the Pacers beat the Lakers by 1 point, so that was 112 to 111. Anthony Davis 31 points, Miles Turner 20 points and 13 rebounds. The Cavs beat the Grizzlies 128 to 113. Morant 24, 8 and 8. Garland 32 and 11. The Knicks beat the Heat 106 to 104. Bam had 32. RJ had 30 points. RJ Barrett, that is. The Bulls 114 to 98 was against the Hornets. Vooch 17, 12 and 6. The Mavericks beat the Pelicans 111 to 106. They were actually up big in this one. The Pelicans nearly came back into it. Ingram had his best game yet, 26, 9 and 7. And Luka actually had 31 points, but then went off injured after about, I think, 26 or 27 minutes. The Nuggets beat the Warriors 134 to 117. Jokic 22, 14 and 16. And Curry had 28 points. The Bucks beat the Clippers by 1 point, 106 to 105. A 28 to 18 fourth quarter had helped the Bucks win that one. Giannis had 54 points and 19 rebounds. Another 50-point game for him there. Saturday's games, we had the Pistons beat the Hornets 118 to 112. The Pacers beat the Kings 107 to 104. The Blazers beat the Wizards 124 to 116. Anthony Simons had 33 points. Porzingis had 32 points. The Wizards blow a big lead in that one. The Blazers actually was 73 to 47 in the second half in that one. The Suns beat the Celtics in Boston 106 to 94. Boston, after their huge game against Brooklyn, couldn't hit a shot apart from Jaylen Brown. He had 27 points there. The Raptors beat the Rockets 117 to 111. Van Vliet in a big game, 32 points. Magic beat the Wolves in Minnesota. Bit of a fight in that one, which is quite interesting to watch. Cole Anthony, 20 points. D'Angelo Russell, 29 and 10 and 6. The Sixers beat the Spurs 137 to 125. Embiid 33 points there. And the Hawks, they beat the Jazz 115 to 108. Trae Young 27 points. Markkanen 25 and 10. Sunday's games, we saw the Nets beat the Wizards 125 to 133. Cam Thomas, the hero in that one, with all those rumours and all trade rumours, eventual trade happening with the Nets, but all those trade rumours happening, the Nets went out and win. Cam Thomas 44 points in that one. Porzingis 38 points. The Nets were helped by Kuzma being injured and no Beal, but still, to get the win, it's very good from them there. The Pelicans beat the Lakers 131 to 126. Anthony Davis 34 points. Brandon Ingram, his best game yet after coming back, 35 points. And the Suns beat the Pistons 116 to 100. DeAndre Ayton 31 points and 16 rebounds. The Clippers beat the Knicks in overtime 134 to 128. Kawhi had 35. Brunson had 41. Only missed a few shots as well. And the Bulls beat the Blazers 129 to 121. Levine had 36. Lillard had 40 points. The Bucks beat the Heat 123 to 115. Giannis a triple-double, 35, 15 and 11. 32 points and 8 rebounds for Jimmy Butler to go along with that. The Thunder thumped the Rockets with 153 to 121. SGA had 42 points in that one. The Warriors beat the Mavericks 119 113. Curry 21 points but ended up being injured in the last quarter. And the Nuggets beat the Hawks 128 to 108. Murray had 41 points. That's Jamal, and DeJounte Murray had 28 and 10 there on a back-to-back. Monday's games. So today's games for me while I'm shooting this. Magic beat the Hornets this morning, 119 to 113. Carter Jr. 20 points and 12 rebounds. LaMelo Ball 33 points. The Cavaliers beat the Pacers 122 to 103. Garland 24 points, 6 assists. Miles Turner a big game, 27, 10 and 3 blocks. The Knicks beat the Sixers 108 to 97. Embiid 31 14. Randall 24, 9 and 7. The Raptors beat the Grizzlies in Memphis 106 to 103, making the Grizzlies go 8 and 9, 8 losses from the last 9 games. Desmond Bane had 26 points in that one. The Wolves thumped the Nuggets, who were resting their players 128 to 98. D'Angelo Russell 18 and 10. And last but not least, the Pelicans thumped the Kings 136 to 104 in New Orleans. Trey Murphy III had 30 points, and that's a back-to-back big game for him, 21 points and 30 points in back-to-back games there. That's the week in review. Now we're looking at the example day throughout that week. Was Wednesday the 1st of February. We ended up with plus 20.19 units. We had Evan Mobley over 15.5 points, paying 235, 1.5 units on that one. The Lakers, they beat the Knicks, and we had their money line, which was paying $2, 3 units on that one. We also had LeBron James to record a triple-double, $9.50 for 1 unit. We saw in the past he'd actually recorded a triple-double in one of his last games in New York, and he loves sort of having that big show there, and obviously Anthony Davis back helps along with that. We also had the Clippers line minus 3.5, 197 for 3 units on that one. And then we also had Giannis 30 points and 12 rebounds, $2, 2 units on that one. And then last but not least, with the Nuggets, a bit of an alternative one with CJ McCollum, 20 plus points, 210 for 2 units. And then Jokic, 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 plus assists, 271.5 units on that one. So that all equaled with just 2 losses throughout the day, which was first quarter margin, the Bucks 14 plus, paying 825. We saw a bit of value there, but they weren't able to get ahead against the Hornets like that. And then we also had Kawhi over 23.5 and Paul George over 21.5. In theory, we should have just gone with Kawhi's overs as he hit that with ease, but Paul George had a quiet night in that one. Topic 3, player and team consistencies. We're just going to run over these quickly. We're not going to go through each one of them. We'll mention the players we do have that are hot, and then have a look at the show notes when you get a moment. Copy and paste them into your notes, and make sure you use them for your week ahead of punting. So for the Hawks, we had Murray assists, Capella rebounds. Celtics, we had Tatum points and Brown points. And then the Hornets have actually lost their last 4 games, but they're also allowing 114 plus points in their last 5 games. Had Rozier points, ball rebounds, ball assists. The Bulls, bit of a tongue twister there. Vucevic points, Vucevic rebounds, also DeRozan assists. The Cavaliers last 6 wins by 10 plus points. Garland points, Mobley points, Murray points for the Nuggets, Jokic Nuggets for assists, and then Porter points. For the Pacers, Halliburton 9 plus assists in his last 3 games. The Clippers, we had Leonard's points, 25 plus in 9 of his last 10 games. George's rebounds. The Lakers, LeBron, points, rebounds, and assists there. It's been consistent. And then Davis, 27 plus points in his last 3 games. Also 9 plus rebounds in his last 5 games. The Grizzlies, they've actually lost 8 of their last 9 games, as we mentioned. Bane points, Morant points, rebounds, and assists. Obviously, looking at his triple doubles at the moment, there's a fair bit of value in that when he is healthy and playing. The Miami Heat, Hero, 24 plus points in 3 of his last 4 games. Over into the Bucks. The Bucks have won their last 6 games. Giannis points and rebounds there. For the Pelicans, CJ McCollum points, looking to that at the moment. Randall points for the Knicks, and Brunson for the Knicks also points. SGA 31 plus points in 6 of his last 7 games. Giddey 8 plus rebounds in 6 of his last 7. The Suns, the Phoenix Suns, they've won 4 of their last 5 games. Ayton's actually had 20 plus points in 4 of his last 5 games, and Bridges 23 plus points in his last 5 games. And then for the 76ers, Embiid 30 plus points in 4 of his last 5 games. There for Philadelphia. Portland, Lillard actually had 40 plus points in 4 of his last 6 games, so scoring the ball phenomenally. And then Simons, 21 plus points in his last 4 games. Kings, Sabonis, 11 plus rebounds in his last 4. And then Markkanen, 25 plus points in 14 of his last 17 games. So scoring the ball well. Conley goaling with that 8 plus assists in his last 4 games. A lot of them to Markkanen. Topic 4. We deep dive into the Eastern Conference standings at the moment. So the Celtics and the Bucks are clear out in front. 37-16 the Celtics are. They're 20-7 at home, and they're 17-9 away. In their division, they're 7-1. Conference 21-11. Their point differentials plus 5.8. They lost their last game, likely to bounce back tomorrow. The Bucks have caught them even with all their injuries, with Giannis out and as well as Middleton out. They're 36-17 at the moment, just 1 game behind. And the Sixers, after they've won about 20 of their last 25 games, they're now 34-18 after being, I think, 10th or 11th earlier in the season. The Nets 32-20. We're interested to see if they increase that or drop that. Obviously, Durant's still got about a few weeks out. He's looking to get back around All-Star game, which is a couple weeks' time. But obviously, they will play a few games prior to that. The Cavaliers are 33-22. They're in 5th, and the Miami Heat have jumped up into 6th, 29-25, and the Knicks are just below them at 29-26. The Hawks 27-27, and then with a losing record, the Bulls are 25-27, and the Wizards 24-28 in 10th position, which is that play-in game. Below them is the Pacers and the Raptors at 25-30, as well as 25-30. Both teams are at that mark, and then the Magic are at 2.5 games behind the Raptors there at 22-32. So theoretically, the Magic, Hornets, and Pistons are probably out of it there. The Raptors, Pacers, all with a chance to leapfrog the Wizards and the Bulls, depending on how the second half of the season goes. But it really depends who has the easier run home and what team decides to play more consistent basketball. But with that sort of play-in position being 9th and 10th, the Pacers, Raptors, and Magic could all potentially play that play-in depending on how their back end of the season go. Topic 5, jumping into the trades and trade rumours. So I've obviously only got Kyrie to the Mavs along with Markieff Morris, and the Nets get Dinwiddie back once again, as well as Finney-Smith and a few picks. They intend to use those picks to shuffle a few more people around, potentially to build around Durant, but we'll sort of see how that goes in the coming days. But we've got a few, I guess, bit of a rumour mill here with OJ Anunoby potentially heading to the Knicks, D'Angelo Russell, the Clippers, Jay Crowder, the Bucks want him, and then Bojan Bogdanovic to the Lakers. These are obviously all rumours. John Collins to the Jazz. Don't know why they would need another big though. The Lakers obviously need shooting from Bojan Bogdanovic. Jay Crowder gives the Bucks another championship sort of guy. D'Angelo Russell to the Clippers. Obviously the Clippers are looking for a point guard at the moment. And OG to the Knicks gives them that, I guess, other wing defender other than Randall. A bit of size. RJ Barrett has shown that he isn't able to really defend well one-on-one against players. Kawhi Leonard absolutely smoked him each time he got switched on to him last game. But that sort of gives them that length at that wing spot if they obviously do end up getting him. The Bulls' big three will likely staying in Chicago. Cam Reddish potentially to the Mavs. Been sitting on the Knicks bench, so no reason why not to move him. Obviously, Kyrie Irving ended up at the Dallas Mavericks. And the Russell Westbrook to the Indiana Pacers, which I don't think will happen, because there'd be Buddy Hield coming back potentially to the Lakers and giving them a shooting, but Westbrook's actually been playing well at the moment for them, and the Lakers are going along okay. They've just lost a lot of close games where they could be in a completely different position to they are now. But that's a couple of sort of trade rumors. That's just on the Bleacher Report articles there. So how correct they are, who knows, but obviously the rumors have come from somewhere. And people are talking, which means any of those could potentially happen. Topic 6, Week 17 preview. So we've gone a bit different this week. So we're covering off obviously Tuesday with 8 games. Our 3 games are the Cavaliers, the Wizards, Mavericks, the Jazz, Bucks, the Blazers. But we'll give you a bit of stats here. So Cavaliers at the Wizards. The Cavs have won their last 2 matchups between each of these sides. Donovan Mitchell versus the Wizards. He's had 37, 32, and 28, as well as 42, 42, 30, and 35. So about 30 plus points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his last 7 matchups against the Wizards there. So obviously he hasn't been shooting the ball well of late. 19 points today, which isn't great. Potentially bounces back tomorrow. Bradley Beal versus Cleveland Cavaliers. 27 and 29 points in his last 2 matchups there as well. So look for those two to go head-to-head as long as Beal's healthy. The Mavericks at the Jazz. The Jazz beat the Mavs 108 to 100 on the 29th. It looks like the Mavericks aren't going to have Kyrie, Luka. They might have Christian Wood back. So that should be an easy win for the Jazz, as they've got the Mavericks has no real ball-dominant point guard, especially with trading away Dinwiddie at the moment. And then last but not least, with the Bucks and the Blazers. Milwaukee's actually won 7 of the last 8 matchups playing against the Blazers. Giannis had 37 last time earlier this year, and then 29 and 47 in his prior 2 matchups. Lillard had 32 points in his last matchup, which wasn't this season, and then 19 and 26 points. So look for Giannis to dominate the paint, with obviously only Eubanks in there. I think Nurkic is still injured at the moment. But that's Tuesday's games. Wednesday has 6 games. We're looking at the Hawks at the Pelicans, Bulls at the Grizzlies, and then Thunder at the Lakers, and LeBron potentially breaking the record there. Murray has had 22 and 11 and 15 and 13 against the Pelicans in his prior 2 matchups. The Bulls at the Grizzlies, Memphis have won their last 4 matchups, which says well for them, obviously losing 8 of their last 9 games. And DeRozan versus Memphis, 31 and 24 points, and Morant actually had 46 points in his last matchup versus Chicago, and prior to that 25 points. The Thunder at the Lakers have actually won the last 2 matchups against OKC. SGA had 11 points in his last matchup, but then 28, 27, and 29 points, so he scored quite well prior to that last matchup. And then LeBron, 33, 25, 28, and 26 points in his last 4 matchups against OKC, and he's 36 points away from that record. So whether he goes ham against OKC, which is possible because they don't have a lot of rim protection, or he plays his usual game, dishing to AD, doing what he needs to do. Thursday, 9 games. So the Sixers at the Celtics, Wolves at the Jazz, Mavs at the Clippers, and the Warriors at the Blazers. For the Sixers at the Celtics beat the Philadelphia 76ers early in the season, 126 to 117 in Boston. That was on the 19th of October, so a fair while ago. Embiid versus Boston, 26 and 15, 19 and 9, 25 and 13, 41 and 10. That's points and rebounds. And Tatum versus the Sixers, 35 and 13, 28 and 12, 20 and 11. So look at his rebounds there. Jason Tatum rebounds against the Sixers on Thursday. Wolves at the Jazz. The Jazz lead the season series 2-1. Edwards versus Utah, 29 points, 14 points, and 30 points. Marking in his only matchup this year against the Wolves, 24 and 13 rebounds. The Mavs at the Clippers. Obviously, depending, it's sort of the injury report at the moment says that Luka and Kyrie could be potentially available for that game, which would be an interesting matchup. The Clippers have actually won the last two matchups of this season against the Mavs. And Luka against the Clippers, 29, 43, 35, 45, 51 points. So obviously likes playing against the Clippers. But Kawhi, equally as good, 30, 33, 20, 22, 29, 36, 28 points. So 28 points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his last 7 matchups against the Mavericks. The Warriors at the Blazers. The Golden State Warriors have won their last 4 matchups against the Blazers, but will obviously be without Stephen Curry at the moment. Paul actually had 41 points in his last matchup against Portland. Lillard, 34 points in his last matchup. Also had a couple of big games at home with 32, 34, and 61 points in the past against Golden State. Friday sees us have 4 games. The Suns at the Hawks, Bulls at the Nets, Bucks at the Lakers are the ones we're looking at. The history for the Suns at the Hawks have won 3 of the last 4 games against Phoenix, and they also had that big 32-point win in Phoenix, 132 to 100 on the 2nd of February. The Bulls at the Nets, Levine, 13, 29, 22, 31, and 24 points. DeRozan, 22, 20, 19, 29, and 28 points there. The Bucks at the Lakers, the Bucks have actually won 3 of the last 4 matchups. The Lakers, though, beat the Bucks earlier this season in December, 133 to 129 in Milwaukee. Giannis versus LA, that's the Lakers, 40, 44, and 47, so he loves playing against the King. And then LeBron, 28, 8, and 11, 27, and 9, 34, and 8, 37, and 8 against the Bucks there. So plenty of scoring between those two, as well as a bit of assists as well from LeBron in the past playing against one another. Saturday sees 11 games. Our 4 games we're looking into is the Knicks at the Sixers, so a rematch from today's game being Monday. The 6th, Wolves at the Grizzlies, Thunder at the Blazers, Bucks at the Clippers. So the Knicks at the Sixers, Randall played well today, 24 and 9. Also had 35 and 8, and 17 and 10, 24 and 6 in the past. And then Embiid versus New York, 31, 35, 27, and 37 points there. The Wolves at the Grizzlies, the Wolves actually lead the season series 2-1. Edwards versus Memphis, 35, 29, and 28 points, and 25 plus points in 6 of his last 8 matchups versus the Grizzlies. And Morant, a triple-double last time, 27, 10, and 11. Prior to that, 24, 5, and 6, and then a near triple-double, 28, 10, and 8 against the Wolves this season. So looking at both those players' stats coming up to Saturday. Thunder at the Blazers, the Thunder have won the last 3 matchups against Portland. SGA, 27, 35, 24, and 22 points. Lillard, a couple of average games, 16, 28, 16, 31, 26, 34. Not sure if Dort will be playing that one as he's out injured at the moment. He's been the main kryptonite for Lillard there. So if he's not playing, for Lillard had to have a big game. The Bucks at the Clippers, 2-2 after 4 straight wins to the Bucks. Giannis versus the Clippers just had 54 points and 19 rebounds after also 28 and 10, 32 and 6, 36 and 14. So some big games against LAC there. Sunday has 9 games. The Sixers, bit tongue twisted. Sixers at the Nets. So obviously that's Ben Simmons playing against his old squad. He's out at the moment with injury, but the Sixers have won 3 of the last 4 matchups. Embiid, 26 and 10, 27 and 12, 34 and 7, 32 and 9 there. The Bulls at the Cavs. The Cavs have won the last 3 matchups against Chicago. DeRozan, 44 points in his last matchup, then 21, 13, 20, 25, and 30. Garland has actually had quite a few big games, so 22 plus points in 6 of his last 7 matchups against Chicago. 28, 25 in his last 2, 20, 24, 25 in the ones before that. And then the Lakers at the Warriors. The Warriors have actually won the last 4 of the last 5 matchups, Davis 27, 16 and 33, so a couple of big games there. And then Thompson also a couple of big games, 18, 33, 7 and 33 points. Those 33 and 33 were both at home for the Warriors as well. Obviously Golden State playing there. Monday has just 2 games, obviously Super Bowl Monday. We're looking at the Grizzlies at the Celtics in that one. The Celtics have won their last 3 matchups. Morant versus Boston, 38 and 9. 38, 4 and 7, 29, 5 and 9, and then 26, 4 and 13. So some fairly good stats there for Ja. And then Brown versus Grizzlies, 21, 18, 27, 42. But look at Tatum's 30 plus points over in that one, 39, 31, 37 points. That is all for the week in, I guess, preview ahead. Moving on to last but not least, I'm looking at some best bets for Tuesday, the 7th of February. So Boston versus the Pistons, minus 11.5 the Celtics are. We would be staying away from that one as they were in Detroit. They could smash them, but they're also playing in Detroit, so who knows what may happen. I'd be looking at Jaylen Brown, 25 plus points, along with maybe a Bojan Bogdanovic, 20 plus points. But even then, we just might steer clear of that game entirely. As it's just easier to put our focus into other games on that day, with it potentially being a blowout, but who knows what may transpire. The Cavaliers versus the Wizards. Interesting stat about the Cavs, they've actually won, I think it's their last 10 games by 8 plus points. The line there for the Cavs is minus 3.5. Pretty sure Kuzma might still be hurt and unsure of how Beal's currently positioned. So I'd be taking the Cavs line with how well they played today against the Pacers. And then also potentially looking at Mitchell's points over, but Garland's been playing a lot more consistently than him. Mobley over 16.5 is also a good shout as well. The Clippers at the Nets. The Clippers are minus 6.5. It's a tough one because the Nets will be hungry as they were against the Wizards, but the Clippers are a lot better squad. So just having a look at that one, depending on who actually plays, as Dinwiddie and Finney Smith are both listed as day-to-day, so they may actually show up and play. That's what we'll be looking at, but I'll be looking at Kawhi Leonard points over anyway. It's at 26.5 at the moment, so that's a fairly good shout. Also, Paul George rebounds, 6 plus, is currently sitting at 150, so combining that with something else is also a good shout. The Spurs at the Bulls. The Bulls minus 10.5, that's a hefty line. I'd be looking at potentially an alternative line of minus 7.5. I think the Bulls have won quite a few games now by 8 plus points. The Spurs have lost quite a few games by 9 plus points. So potentially combining that with something else, but staying away from any point tallies as it may be a blowout. So players may be rested. The Kings and the Rockets, that's a game we're staying away from as well. Just because the Kings away are average, and they're obviously without De'Aaron Fox running the offense at the moment, which is showing. And then the Rockets can surprise a team at home. So that's one game we'd be staying away from. The Mavericks at the Jazz. The Jazz minus 9.5. I'd be gobbling that up just because the Mavericks don't have many players playing in that one that will be able to control the offense and get them easy scores like Luka will or like Kyrie will in the future. The Bucks at the Blazers. We're currently seeing the Bucks minus 4.5. We like that one, as well as Giannis to have a huge game, as well as Lillard to have a big game as well. Giannis 40 plus points at the moment is 320, same as Lillard 320, so both players at 40 plus points. Combining that together, even you're looking at something like, it's not giving me at the moment, but it may, I have to log in. Sorry, just logging in here. So combining those two players together for 40 plus points will get you... No, still not giving me it. Have a look at that tomorrow anyway. It should be about $8, 320 and 320 together. Combining those two. And then moving on to the next game, last but not least, the Thunder against the Warriors. Thunder are actually 254 plus 4.5. The Warriors are minus 4.5. They're without Curry at the moment. That's a good mention. Looking at Klay Thompson, 25 plus points. Also Jordan Poole, 25 plus points. And then SGA, 30 plus points. Actually, he's paying his over-unders at 32.5 at the moment. might be staying clear of that, but I'll be looking at Poole and Thompson 25 plus points there, as well as maybe a Golden State head-to-head, as they are at home and play super well at home. But that is all for this week. Feel free to like, follow, and subscribe on all good platforms. Feel free to like, obviously, on Facebook, or head to jellyman.co if you'd like to subscribe to the recommendations and more stats that get emailed out daily. That is all for this evening. Good luck for your week ahead of punting.